What's up? It's your girl Janessa, and this is Find Your Wild with a Y podcast. What's up? Let me move my mic here. So, today we are going to talk about building a business, right? We've talked about leaving corporate America. We've talked about surrounding yourself with the right people. We're going to talk about building a business. I'm going to give you 10 important things to make sure you focus on and to make sure that you prioritize. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? I hope you're ready. It's Friday. I'm recording this on a Friday. So, number one, set clear boundaries. I cannot be more adamant about this. Make sure, and this is going to be different, right? From the very beginning, you're going to feel like you need to spend more time in your business, building your business. That is okay. That is normal. Moving through, you need to learn to identify a work schedule. I'm going to do air quotes, a work schedule, right? So identify times where you want to work. Where are you most productive? I am very productive in the morning. So if you give me, 5, 6 a.m., I get shit done. And then about 12 to 2, I start to kind of just drift off. So everybody doesn't function like that. But what are your best working hours? Like, for example, my mom is a night owl. So she's the most productive at night. That's her jam. That's where she feels like she gets the most done. I am not that person. I am the complete opposite. So identify your work hours and then workspace. If you don't have a space in your home, whether it's a little desk in your closet or if you have an office in your house that's your space, you need to have a space. And I love coffee shops, but I don't feel like they're the most functional for everybody. And I say that because I am a Sagittarius. I also have ADHD. So for me to be in a coffee shop trying to work, that is just nuts. There's so much going on. It's very loud. It's distracting. There's constant traffic in and out. That's not very conducive for getting work done for a personality like me, right? But you have these co-working spaces like Kiln, and I can't remember some of the other big businesses that have this. One of my girlfriends owns one here in Boise. It's called the Harper. Beautiful, like little desks that you can work at, and there's enclosed offices that you can work in. So find a place where you are the most productive and you can get shit done in those work hours. Okay. Number 2, prioritize and plan. You need to make sure that you have daily prioritization and weekly. So I would reverse that. I would say weekly, you look at your week on a Sunday and say, hey, okay, I want to get this, all these things done this week. And then on a daily basis, you want to make sure you have a list of things you want to get done. So I'll give you an example. I have a board over here to my right, and I have to-do list and then the week. What week that is. This was the week of July 22nd. So I have a list of all these things I want to get done this week. And then at the end of each day, when I'm in bed about to watch a show or whatever, I'll write down in my notes in my phone what I want to do the next day, what I didn't get done today, and what else has kind of come up that needs to get done in the next couple of days. So weekly prioritization, daily prioritization. We're going to kind of look at a bigger picture too. But prioritize, plan. What is that saying? Failure to plan is, I'm not going to even try it. I had this written down at one point. Failure to plan is planning to fail. I think that's what it is. So prioritize, plan. Number 3, outsource and delegate. This becomes more important as you grow. So you want to make sure that you are outsourcing business tasks. So like admin stuff, bookkeeping, maybe even social media management. It's okay to do that when you're first starting out, but as you grow, you want to make sure that you start to delegate out business tasks, right? You can do everything on your own. You just won't be able to grow to the scale that you want to. And this is something that I saw my dad do all the time, right? Like we all know that we can do certain things, and we all believe we can do certain things. Like, why would I pay someone to do that if I could do it? However, if you are trying to build a business, your energy needs to be focused on building rather than I don't mean mundane as if they're not important, but those can be done by somebody else. And you are the driver of the business. So delegate the big business tasks. When it comes to your household, if you're working at home and, hey, look, it's summertime, your kids are off. If you can't afford to pay a house cleaner, you have your kids put away the dishes, clean the bathrooms, vacuum the floors. They can absolutely help. If you don't have kids, then I would say look into getting a house cleaner. Maybe it feels like something you can't afford, but that time is then given back to you and you can spend it building your business, which is very important, right? That's where we want our time spent. Number 4, setting realistic goals. So we want to avoid overcommitting. And this is something that you can easily do. I am a Sagittarius. I like to fly real high, right? So I like to set really big goals that feel kind of unachievable, but then you want to break them down. Everybody doesn't function like that. So setting realistic goals it kind of means something different for each person. If your realistic goal is to sell one digital product a week, write it down. That is a very realistic goal. As your business grows, that's going to change, right? So if you were to say, I want to sell 20 products, 20 digital products, but you don't have an email campaign set up, you don't have a stand store to house these digital products, or not even just stand store, it could be any other platform, and you don't have a way to keep in contact with these customers or even for them to purchase the product, that's not a realistic goal, right? So make sure that you have a realistic goal based on where you are in this cycle of business, and break down those bigger goals, right? So I'll give you an example over here. Again, on my whiteboard, one of them is launch podcast in July. Check, done. Be on the top 10 by 2025, July of 2025, right? So then I need to break that down. What does that even look like? Well, I probably need more sponsors, or I need sponsors for my podcast, money. And then I probably need to get myself out there more, right? Be on more platforms, be more available, be providing more content because I get in front of more people. So breaking that down. This is where I want to be. These are some different steps that I could take to get there. 5, practice self-care. This is very, very, very important, and it's hard to do in the beginning of your business, but make sure you're scheduling breaks. So whether you've been sitting all day, right? Get up, walk around for 5 minutes. If you're at home, walk up and down the stairs if you have them, or go outside and turn on a podcast and go for a walk around your neighborhood. Make sure that you're acknowledging that your brain needs a break sometimes, and physically your body needs to move, right? So you acknowledge both of those, because you will go into burnout. That is a very real thing. So taking a break, letting your brain rest, and letting your body move helps revive that. And then that also leads into like physical and mental health, right? Be kind to yourself. Again, move, move, move. I like to wake up early in the morning and work out. That's what fuels me. It's what kind of brings me to life. And then that's done for the day, right? But we are not meant to sit all day long in an office or, in a room, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it, but get up and move. Physical and mental health is very, very important for your well-being, for your business's well-being, and for your employees' well-being, if you have that. So acknowledge that and be a model for that for your employees. Number 6, this is a really hard one for me. So I would say it's be decisive. Again, I'm a Sag and I have ADHD. So, like going to the Cheesecake Factory, that is really, really fucking frightful, because there's way too many things on that menu. If you don't know about Cheesecake Factory, there's like I don't even know how many pages. I mean, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's like 10 or 12 pages front and back of all these different things that you can order. I mean, come on. I usually end up ordering the same thing because I'm like paralyzed by indecision. And I just listened to a little clip from a podcast that Cody Sanchez was on. I don't know if you follow her. She's amazing. She's an entrepreneur. She's young. She's vivacious. She tells it like it is. And I just love her. But she said, people tell you to take out employees when you first hire them, when you're a small business, watch how they treat the staff. Also, watch how they make decisions or don't make decisions, right? And she gave an example. She said, if you're in a line for a coffee shop, right? And you're hemming and hawing, like, I don't know, do I want a salted caramel latte? Do I want a vanilla latte or maybe a pistachio latte? What you're doing is wasting people's time behind you, right? So you're showing a sign of disrespect for the people behind you. And then you're also wasting your own time, right? We all are given so many minutes in a day, and we all have a meter of time that's running out. So as morbid as that sounds, that's just the truth of the matter. And people need to learn to be more decisive when you have to make a decision, right? Don't hem and haw on what you're going to do, what you want. This is something that I'm constantly working on because it is a major struggle for me. So don't waver on your decisions. Make a decision, stand with confidence in that, and move forward. And then you can make educated decisions, right? Like if you feel like you don't really know what you want to do or what direction you want to go, if it's something that requires an educated decision, then take time to, in a sense, to make a decision, but make an educated decision. Don't go down a rabbit hole and just research. That's going to continue to waste time. So do a little research, make an educated decision, move forward. So be decisive. And then number 7 would be use technology wisely, right? So we can set up automated systems. There's all kinds of apps that you can use to help with your calendar. If you're doing one-on-one consulting, you can use like Calendly, you could use Zoom. On StanStore, there's a whole thing that helps you set up your schedule. So utilize those apps that sync with your calendar on your phone, on your computer. And then also things like email marketing, right? So setting up an email campaign. If you have not done that, you are providing free product or someone purchases something and you don't have any kind of email campaign set up to keep in touch with those customers, that takes, it depends on how extensive you want to get with this. But that could take, an hour to up to 4 hours, I would say, give and take. Again, depending on how extensive you want to get. Set up an email campaign with 8 to 10 different emails that go out on the scheduled basis. So the first one, and then 2 days after that, and then 2 days after that, and however you want to schedule it. But that's an example of an automated system so that you're not having to manually do an email every time you want to communicate with your customers. And then limit your distractions, right? So you can do this. You can set up time. I don't know how to phrase that. You can set up the amount of time that you're able to spend on your phone, on social media. You can set time limits for that so that you're not going on to social media when you should be finishing this project. I took about a 1 month social media break, and it's really sad how programmed we all are to go onto Instagram specifically. I mean, I knew that I was logged out and I would still hit the Instagram button. It's just this weird habit, right? So you can control that. You can set up you could set limitations. Sorry, I'm losing my words here, for the amount of time that you are on social media and other things. So look into your Apple phone or your Android. You can do all kinds of different things in there to minimize distractions. Number 8, and this could be honestly one of the most important ones, would be to seek support. So have a mentor, have a mentorship group, have a coach, yes, those things cost money. Sometimes you have friends who are in an industry and you can lean on them for that. But this is an investment that is really truly priceless, because the amount that you pay for those sessions or that group, you will minimize the cost that you would spend making all these mistakes that they already have made and they've guided you around, right? So sometimes people look at this as like, oh my gosh, well, I have to pay how much for a mentor? Or I have to pay how much to sit down and talk to this person? Well, those people will save you money in the end because they've made all these mistakes and they help you avoid all these mistakes, some of which are extremely costly. So have a mentorship person, have a coaching person, especially if you're having a down day or you did something, you're like, shit, I fucked up. I mean, I don't know how to get myself out of this situation. Lean on that person. They've probably done the same thing, or maybe they haven't, but they can still guide you like, hey, I was kind of in a similar situation. What I would suggest you do is XYZ. So mentorship, coaching, huge. Also networking, right? There's an online community of local groups of entrepreneurs. Even sometimes there's parents at your kids' school who maybe are in an industry that you want to be in, or have a business that you're trying to not mimic, but do something similar. Lean on those people. People are always willing to give you advice. Everybody wants to talk about themselves. If you have not noticed that, you learn this very fast in sales. People want to be heard. Everybody wants to be heard. So let people talk and tell you about their business. And again, maybe give them like, hey, can I take you to lunch and ask you all these questions? I'm in this place. I'm trying to understand how to build this business, but I'm kind of stuck, or I'm just starting. I don't really even know where to start. 9 times out of 10, people are going to help you, right? And number 9 would be, so that would be number 8, make sure that you have a solid mentor, coaching person or group. 9 would be flexibility and adaptability, right? So as you go along this business journey, you're going to have ebbs and flows, right? You're going to go up and down these hills. You're going to be on the top of the world and then boom, crash and burn. And it may be not even that drastic, but understand that you're going to have to adjust as you go through this. You're going to have to pivot, lean on those coaches, those mentors, again, to help you get through these hard points. And then don't be afraid to reflect and adapt, right? Look back and say, what have I been doing that isn't working? What have I been doing that is working? Scratch what isn't working. Remember, making that decision. Add in what you can maybe change to that and move forward. So reflect back, look at where you started, where you are now. Oh my gosh, are at now, and then adapt. Number 10 would be celebrate small wins. The journey can be rough sometimes, and you need to be able to celebrate where you've come from. So even if it's as simple as, like I'll give you an example with this podcast. I said in July, I'm going to launch the podcast and I'm going to do it every 2 weeks. And I'm going to stick to that. And I'm going to get it on all different platforms. Now, that sounds simple. It was not simple, because you have to figure out how to start recording. What platforms are you going to use to record, right? How am I going to do this? Am I going to video record, or am I not going to video record? What happens if you record and the audio's missing, or you record and you don't like the way that it is. You don't like the way that it sounds. That happened to me. It's happened to me several times. So you've got to learn how to just kind of adapt, understand. And like now I can look back and say, look, I did so much shit to get to this point. It doesn't look like it because you see the finished product, but you can look back and say, okay, I've actually accomplished a lot on my own. I figured out how to do this all on my own. And here we are now with episode 3. And again, you have not seen all the crazy shit that has happened, but here we are. So celebrate the small wins, acknowledge your achievements, and just be proud of where you are. and be willing to share that with people. Like your friend group is going to love you. They're going to support you. They want you to win, or they should. If they don't, go back to episode 2 and listen to that on repeat. But these are just 10 small tips for building a business to kind of help you get through some of the stickiness when you start. Like, oh shit, what do I do? How do I prioritize this? Is it weird to ask for people's help? It is not at all. So know that. Make decisions. Huge part of it. I'm still working on that. And celebrate the small wins, right? There are going to be times when you fall flat on your face. So you're going to have to adjust. You're going to have to pivot. Don't stop. Just fix what needs to be fixed and keep moving forward. If this is something that you're passionate about, something that you love, something that you just feel so strongly about, don't stop. Maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you start and you're just having all these issues and you just need to take a mental break. That's okay. Go do that and then come back and restart. So that's where I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave this one a little bit short and sweet, but I know everybody goes in and out of their car. I just remember when I was constantly working in corporate America, I was always in my car or on a plane. And so I would listen to these little blurbs. I like the short and sweet. Sometimes we can get into the long ones if we have a guest. Maybe I'll just, ask all kinds of questions and we can dive real deep into different subjects. But for now, I'm going to keep this sweet and short. What? Short and sweet? Whatever. Tomato, tomato. So hopefully these help. If you know somebody who can benefit from this, who's starting their business, they don't really know what to do, I would love any kind of feedback. Feel free to share this podcast with your friends and family. And I will see you on the next go round. Thank you. As always, thank you so much for your time, because at the end of the day, that's the most important currency we have. I hope you took something away from today's episode. Don't forget to follow me at Find Your Wild with a Y on all your socials, as well as following the podcast on any of the platforms that you listen to. And most importantly, I hope you're one step closer to finding your wild.